Alright, plebs. So this week in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's a really slow week. I was really struggling to find any news to report, but I didn't want to skip it. Thought I might as well, if I'm gonna report, I might as well like have something for you. So yeah, this week we had the Raging Tempest sneak peeks, of course. A lot of you guys went and pulled very well, and some of you pulled toilet. So as you do, and sneak peeks, that's why I don't participate in them, because it is a waste of money. But yeah, I hope you guys did well and stuff. We have the full list of Zoo now. Not Zoo, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. The full list of Raging Tempest cards. I've done my set analysis, so if you guys are wanting to know, I've read every single card in the set, and for those of you interested, I have the set review on my page, so I'll link in the description. You can have a look there. I've gone through and I've mentioned every relevant card there is, so you can have a little watch at that if you've got a 20 minute to spare or something like that, and I just go through every new card basically that's worth talking about. So yeah, I mean, we have the name of everything. There was one card I wanted to see actually. Oh, Void Feast. Yeah, for some reason that was just in my mind, because I remember it had Void Madness was the name, but they decided to call it with Feast. I don't know, is Madness too much of a crazy word to use, I guess, maybe by TCG standards? So yeah, Raging Tempest is now here. So if you, as I've been saying for the last 3 episodes, please make sure you start reading some of these cards. Just watch the last video I posted on this, and you'll get me up to date. Next up, we've got I just wanted to look at the Pyramid of Light movie reviews, just so you guys can get an idea of just how garbage the first Yu-Gi-Oh movie was. It's got 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think this is legitimately one of the lowest rated films in history, like ever. This film is that bad. But we look at Dark Side of Dimensions, and it's doing pretty fucking good. Like 7.5 on IGN, 8 out of 10 on IMDb. I don't know what Common Sense Media is, but I looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes, and even on Rotten Tomatoes, it's doing good. It's the audience score, I guess, but I'm sure they'll do an official review at some point. But Dark Side of Dimensions is doing pretty good in the cinema, and I'm really fucking sad that I didn't get to see this film. I've never been hyped for like an anime movie, but it looked so beautiful, and I just wanted to see Dimension Summoning because it's cool, as an idea. So yeah, I never got to see any of it, sadly, and I've missed the only 2 showings that there was in the UK, so, and in Glasgow anyway. So yeah, that sucks. But I mean, if you haven't seen it, I guess we'll have to wait for the DVD release or whatever that is, or whoops. Next important piece of news we have is Dueling Book. As you can, I don't know if you've watched or heard, but you must have heard if you've been living under a rock. Dueling Book is back as Dueling Network is back with a new reskin. Let me just show you guys this intro really quick, right? So you can see how beautiful this thing looks, right? Just look how nice this looks. So cool, so cool. Problem is, when we try to log in, we're just stuck on connecting forever. So the servers are pretty kaput right now. So I think it says that they're upgrading servers. I still think it's a big troll. I really do. As exciting as it was, I just, on hindsight, I think it's probably just a big troll. I was going to have Dan Parker from YG Organization on to talk about this, since he was very heavily involved with Dueling Network, so he knows all about this, the legal struggles, the technical struggles behind something like starting basically Dueling Network 2.0, because this is literally just Dueling Network. It's the same code. It's just reskinned. There's no difference. It's the same thing is under the bonnet, if you know what I mean. So hopefully we'll get to talk to him at some point this week, and just go over Dueling Book. So not really much to say. It doesn't work just now. It's probably not going to be up for a while. We've tested the limits of our server and decided to upgrade to something much bigger. For the time being, connecting to the server may not be possible. All the issues with email confirmation will be fixed in time. Stay tuned. Just not sure how well it's gonna go, but anyway, next piece of news we have is Sea Monster of the Sea. The Seas is see this little tuner thing that it says here? All of the non-English versions of this card didn't say tuner, it just says zombie. So as far as non-English speaking Yu-Gi-Oh players are concerned, when they summon Sea Monster of the Seas, it's a level 5 vanilla. So yeah, what Konami have offered is that you can send your full name and address, home address, contact number, etc., and your incorrectly printed Sea Monster of the Seas, and Konami will personally give you another Sea Monster of the Seas. So you post it to them, and they'll send you a new one. I don't know. I'd love to know if this has ever happened before. Not misprints, but like, because I know they've misprinted like shit tons of times, but if they've ever actually just like, you know, asked people to send the cards and then reimburse them new cards. I think that's kind of crazy. I've never seen them. Can't think of anything. So if there has, let me know. Next up, I guess we're on to the meta. This week, not really much to say. We have our regionals in Scotland. Honestly, by default, just everything that topped was just ABC, Frogs, and Meadowfall, and the same shit. Like, most of that was most of the top cut. I thought I'd mention this because second place was Yang Zings. Just pure Yang Zings. And then we have this idiot here. Getting fourth place with Minerva. Minerva topped in England as well, which I did manage to get the profile for. And then we also have Burning Abyss Blue Eyes topping our regional. So other than that, that's about as unique as it goes. Oh, and first place, of course, was fucking DDDs. So DDDs still pretty strong currently, but I mean, going forward, who knows? This weekend was the final ever tournament play of this format. Well, not technically this format, but you know, pre-Raging Tempest. Everything's going to be vastly different next week. I'm pretty happy to say at my regionals next week I'm going to be playing Ritual Beast, because hashtag Team No Zoo, and I got my invite already, thankfully, so I can just fuck around and have some fun. That's about it for the meta, honestly. And over to OCG land, things are very interesting. So this is the metagame report from the 31st. Well, what can we say here? They finally decided to divide the decks into, like, you know, percentages now. So what we can see here is, if you watched last week's episode, what you would have noticed is that Zoo took about like 2/3, and then the Draco Zoo took about 25% of the top cut, so not as much. And what we're seeing here in the OCG is that they're shifting back to Zoo. Like, Pure Zoo seems to be the best deck. Kaiju Zoo not far behind at 25% of tops, and then we have Kaiju Draco Zoo taking some tops, and then Draco Zoo taking about 10%, and then 25% for others. I'm surprised others has a much bigger showing this time, because in last week's episode others did nothing really in OCG. I think it was like 5% or something. So in the other section we have Zoo Meadowfall, Zoo True Draco, and wait, Masterpiece and True Draco are apparently different decks. I didn't know that. I don't know too much about that Maximum Crisis stuff. I mean, I barely just learned Raging Tempest, and you know, so it's pretty crazy over there in OCG. Zoo, True Draco, Cosmo, two of those top. One was Predaplant. How do you fit that many engines in a fucking deck? I don't know. There was a Burn deck that topped. Okay. Greener, Zoo, Zephyra, Lunalight topped. What the fuck is that? And one Pure True King. So Mono Zodiac is, as you can see, an example list here. It's basically just Zoo with hand traps, and how many fucking hand traps is this guy playing? 3, 6, 9, 9 hand traps. Jesus. It's just 9 hand traps in Zoo. Oh, they have 3 Maxine OCG, lucky bastards. A Kaiju Zoo deck looks a little something like this. Masterpiece Zoo looks a little something like this. And unfortunately, I didn't really see anything. So apparently, they've got a little bit of a triangle going on in the OCG. So Mono Zoo beats Pure Zoo beats Kaijo Zoo, and Kaijo Zoo beats Masterpiece Zoo, but Masterpiece Zoo beats Pure Zoo. Well, who would have thought that, huh? Yeah, so that's about the percentages here. Mono Zoo, Zoo in general taking 3/4 of the meta. That's about it. Onto the card market, we have Solemn Strike spiked in the last few days for, you know, good reason. So for those of you who are planning to play Zoo and don't have strikes yet, you need to buy them ASAP. This is a really good time to buy strikes. It's really cheap at the moment. Not as cheap as it was last week when I told you to buy strikes back then, but if you're too late, well, it's still kind of time because it's still really low. Then we have dim barriers, which are I wonder if we'll hit £70 on this. I really wonder if we'll hit £70. I don't think even Pot of Desire has managed to hit that much, you know. But people know how good this card is and know how important it is in zoo matches and zoo mirrors. I just really curious to know, will this hit £70? Because these cards should technically be easier to pull than, you know, last year's secrets. Well, the year before that secrets. Necros of Bryonax, for example, hit £90. 90. £90 for a Bryonax back when it was released after the first event. So these are supposed to be easier to pull with the new ratios and stuff Konami decided on. And we're halfway there. We're looking at about €65 for one dim barrier. If anyone wants to buy D barriers, hit me up. I'll sell it to you. I'm actually trying to sell them. I might hold on to them to Seattle because I know it's just going to spike harder. Like Seattle's going to be. It's the same as last year. Remember last year at YCS Atlanta where Pepe took like 25 or 28 of the top cut spots, and then it just spiked up more. Because somehow people didn't realize it was the best deck before that. I don't know how. It's the same with Zoo. Zoo cards are, look here at Barrage, for example. We're looking at about €55 for a Barrage. That sounds pretty reasonable, honestly, if that was like its real market price. But because the set's not out yet, it's only going to go down. And as you can see here, the pre-order prices, we're looking at about 50. Then they spiked to like 60. Now we're back down to about like mid-50s. These secret rares from Rate for Zoo, they're gonna keep going down, which is good. So you need to pay. If I were you, if you really want to like get this cheap, buy this deck before Seattle. As soon as Seattle takes place, these cards are going to, they will fucking smash through the fucking sky at how high that Barrage will be £100. It will. I don't think people understand how good this deck is. I don't think they do. And when Necros, you know, came out, Bryonax, you know, you could get for £30-40, and then we saw the result at Charleston. They had like 22 tops. This deck will get more tops than Necros. This deck will get more tops than Necros. I'm gonna bite my tongue now because I know that's probably gonna not be true, but seriously, if for those of you who have played Zoo, Kaiju Zoo especially, you know, in a meta where we're at now, where Kaiju's kind of just shit on a lot of things, or Slumber itself, just slumber, make board, win, set barrier, thanks for coming. This deck, fucking woe betide the day that this card hits £100. I just know it's gonna hit £100 for Seattle. Anyway, rambling aside, next up we've got Windwitch. They look like they are climbing quite high. I think Icebell is the ultra, right? That Icebell is the expensive one. So this is like the Terror Top, I believe, if I'm not wrong. So it's fairly cheap right now. It's €7 each. So I mean, it's only going to go lower, especially after Seattle. It's going to drop even lower. But before Fusion Forces, I think it's called. What the fuck's the next set called? The 24th. It's not set, but you know what I mean. The 24th. Fuck, I forgot the name. But when that comes out, these will spike again because of Eidolons. Eidolon Windwitch is kind of a deck, so it's gonna spike a little bit after then. So if you do want to play Windwitches and not Zoo, hashtag Team No Zoo, make sure you get this. I would suggest buying it after Seattle, because it's going to drop after Seattle. People will realize, oh, Windwitches suck, and then price is going to go down. Then Fusion Forces will come up. Oh, Windwitch Eidolon, that's kind of actually good. It's going to go back up. So right before Fusion Forces is when I would buy this deck if I were you, if you're planning to buy it. Next up we have Grass is Greener. Fairly cheap for a secret rare right now. Like at Sneak 23 euros, 24 euros, 24 euros for a secret rare during sneak peek period. This is really cheap for a secret rare. If you want to play Infernoids, If I were you, I would probably, again, just wait till the actual release. It's just going to get lower and lower. No rush, honestly, unless you have, like, Seattle. You can just buy this before Seattle. Wait, isn't Atlanta first? No, Atlanta's later. Atlanta's after Seattle. This is only going to get lower. If you want to play Inferno, buy it. This is Infernoid Zoo is probably going to be the most expensive deck of this game for the foreseeable future. But this is a good time to buy. As in, well, next week, not right now. Don't buy this right now. Don't buy anything from Raging Tempest right now. That's all I can say. Unless you get a really good price. If you're paying, like, let's say Zoo Barrage, for example. If you get that for like £40, maybe even 50, I'd buy it. But generally, you want to try and get 40. £40 is a good price for like a Zoo Barrage right now. But this is sneak peek period. It will go down. It will go down. I think it could potentially go down to like 30, you know, but it will absolutely fucking fly through the roof after Seattle. It will completely just. I can't even. I'm trying to think of an image in my head, and I just imagine like this glass ceiling, and it just being shattered as like this arrow flies through the roof of like the price on a graph. Like, see this graph for Zoo here. You see this? How it's like it dips down. After Seattle, it's going to just a vertical line is just going to be there. So I think this is the longest market watch I've had, but you know, I thought I would talk a little bit more for this episode since it's been a really fucking slow week. So I don't really have anything much else to add this week, honestly. It's been pretty slow, but you know, hopefully we're going to get a lot of big regional deck profiles and stuff coming through next week. I'm going to do my very best to cover everything. I have 3 days off in a row this week, and I'm so happy. I'm off Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday I'm off. Oh, I just can't wait to work on like videos. I just have so much content I want to put out. I just haven't had time, and I'm hoping this weekend I can do that. So yeah, this has been my This Week in Yu-Gi-Oh! Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think down below, and we'll do the 60-second version tomorrow because it's getting pretty late now, and I really have to go to bed. So see ya.